A lot, Ginger. This is very timely, and I think a lot of our viewers are going to like that we're talking about this, quite frankly. Scammers are always looking for the best way to rob you of your hard-earned money. In the past year, robocall scams have been on the rise, with 50 billion robocalls made just last year. Here to tell us how to protect ourselves from these robocall scammers, Brent Wilsey with Wilsey Asset Management. Brent, always good to see you.
Good to be here.
I'm glad we're talking about this because I am out of my mind frustrated with all of these calls I'm getting on my cell phone.
Well, and I'm sure you're one of the smart ones that you don't respond to them. But again,
No.
we talked about 50 billion calls, nearly 50 billion calls, up 60% from last year. So it's on the rise, unfortunately. But the problem is, like 3 to 5% of people respond. That's about 2.5 billion people responding to these calls, and not people, but they reply multiple times, and that's a problem. The other thing with robocalls, it's just a marketing company, could be legitimate, may not be legitimate, but it's so inexpensive to do this, and that's why it keeps happening, because it doesn't cost much to do it. And they just sent out thousands of calls at once, and that's the problem we're having.
That's really a problem, and I've noticed what they're doing is I'm an 858 number, so they call from an 858 and then the first 3 numbers of my phone number to kind of get you to associate with it. But I was just talking on camera with you, it's gotten to a point where I'm not even checking my messages for days at a time because every single one that I get, almost every single one, is just an automated robocall.
And you know what's bad about that too is that the less people respond to them, the more they seem to do. It's kind of like it feeds itself to where, like, okay, well, people aren't responding, we'll just increase the volume. So AT&T, Sprint, Apple, they're trying to get things to do this. One thing they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so that the number has to match where it's coming from. Because if you're going to send out a marketing campaign with thousands of numbers that won't match up, it should not go on through. But the technology is so, again, inexpensive, it's easy to come back with something new each time. And I think you mentioned, too, that you signed up for the Do Not Call list.
Yes, the national registry, that we're told that if we go on that and put in our phone numbers, we can eliminate these altogether, and that doesn't work.
Well, and that's the mistake. You can't eliminate them altogether because you'll eliminate the ones that are legal robocalls. But remember, 40% of these are scams. So if they're a scam coming from outside the country, they are not going to listen to, they're on a Do Not Call list. They don't care because it's illegal anyways. They're just trying to scam people out of money.
So how can we protect ourselves?
Well, what you have to do is, again, I mean, you have to go to Apple, AT&T. You have to get these apps. There are apps out there that will help. And again, please keep in mind, it's not going to eliminate it completely, unfortunately, because the technology just keeps changing. But you have to do that. Contact your provider. Let them know you want to stop this. They'll make it to where they may go directly to your voicemail. There's different things they can do, but you've got to set up these apps. You've got to set up with your provider, and you'll reduce it by maybe about 70 to 80%, but you'll still get some coming on through.
I imagine we can go to our provider and they probably have some preferred apps or some suggestions for us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Verizon, I believe, is the leader in this, doing a great job on it. But the thing people have to realize, too, the problem is that some of these are legitimate. You can get a legitimate call from your library, from your drugstore, from the school, because they use these as well. So that's a problem they're having. How do they determine if it's a legitimate one or illegitimate? And again, the scammers, and there's one from the IRS, and right now it's tax time. Those are the big ones. Watch out for those. And I can't believe, but they even have people signed up that do it on a multiple basis, sign up for a payment plan to these scammers. It's just terrible. You got to know the difference between the two.
Okay, so I guess the moral of the story is talk to your provider and see what their suggestions are.
And also search for the apps. There's other apps that you can search for.
Any seminars coming up?
Yeah, actually we do. We have a seminar Wednesday, February 27th at 6:30 in Scripps Ranch. And as you know, you can go to the website to sign up for that, which is smartinvesting2000.com. I know you got that memorized.
Yes, I do. I've sat here alongside you enough times to know.
Yes.
All right. Brent Wilsey, always great to see you, Brent.
Good to be here.
We'll be right back with more Good Morning Sandy.